One thing I really love to do is get inspired from all of you. I recently had someone ask me, how would I create in Cricut Design Space some fun scrapbook titles and elements that kind of look like this, where they have the outline going around everything, and then you can use different colored papers inside. Here's another example. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. First, we're going to start with a good, thick, blocky font. And this one, I think I'm going to say Beach Day. And I am going to do each one as a separate text box so I can adjust them. Maybe I do beach in one font and day in another. So then I'm going to go to fonts. I'm going to look at my bookmarked ones first. Ooh, that's actually kind of nice. So one thing I like to do is, let's zoom out a little bit. I like to go under my shapes and I insert a square. And then I typically do a 12 by 12 scrapbook page. So then I can just have that in there and change that to a guide. So now this helps me to kind of help determine the best like size and scale of things. Now let's go find some images. Maybe a beach ball. What if I just type in beach and see what comes up? And let's add that to our canvas. I am actually going to size that down. And I'm going to flip that horizontally. The first thing I'm going to do is take the words beach and day, and I'm just going to add an offset around them. I'm going to change that offset to white. Now I'm going to take that offset and I'm going to use contour to fill in these little holes inside here. I turned off the wrong one. There we go. I'm going to turn all of these off because I want to play with the ball for a second. It says it's a volleyball, but honestly, it looks more like a beach ball to me. So with this, I'm also going to add an offset. Let's make this one tinier and hit apply. That is a solid shaped offset, which is what I want. I'm going to make that white. Now let's turn this offset back on. I am going to actually do a copy paste, and I want to paste it right on top. If you hold down your Alt key on your keyboard, you should be able to go copy and paste. At first, I thought that copy paste right on top of itself didn't work, but then I looked over at my layers panel and look at that. There's all kinds of copies. So one of them is the original, and then the other two are copies. This third copy did not land right on top of the other ones. Not sure why, but I'm going to show you how to move that so that it's exactly on top without shifting the ones that are underneath. So to do that, I'm going to look at something called the position. This tells me the XY coordinates on the grid for each image. So this is at 5111. So I'm going to put this one at 5111. And then the position of this one is 2.235. 2.235. Okay, so now they're right on top of each other. The reason I did that is because I want to use one for slicing and one for welding. So I'm going to turn off some of these. This one and this offset, I am going to want to weld those together. And then I will take those and say arrange and send it to the back. Okay, perfect. So that's my welded one. I'm going to turn that one off. So this one, I want to slice it from this. So first I'm going to have to ungroup these. The reason I have to ungroup these before I can start to use any other functions is because I need to be able to pick the individual layers. And for slice and subtract to even work, you can only have 2 layers selected. Then I can take and hold my shift key on my keyboard and select the purple part of the volleyball and the offset. And I'm going to use combine. And then I'm going to select subtract. Subtract is a newer function. It's much like slice, only it doesn't leave those pieces behind that you have to delete manually. If you are more comfortable using slice, feel free to do that. But just know you're going to have lots of little pieces left over that you're going to have to delete. So I am just going to continue on doing the same process once for each color in that beach ball. So I select one colored layer and one of those white offsets, and then I'll use combine and subtract to remove the white offset from the ball shape. So now if I turn that weld back on, that's my base. Then I have those little pieces that I can put on top. Then I can turn my letters back on. And if I wanted each letter to be a different color, I would then ungroup these and ungroup these too. So now for my colors, I'm going to take these and move them into some of, just slide them down into the other colors. So like I want the B purple, then the E is going to be pink, then the A will be blue. You see how that's just making the colors match up? And I forgot to mention, I can do this because I'm using the color sync, which is right next to your layers panel. So click on that and you can see the individual colors and just slide things around to become a different color. I can go back to layers, get rid of that. So that's how I would create this design. The white piece is a solid piece and then you're layering the other pieces on top. I decided to do another one. Let's use this text again. And I'm going to type up the word sunshine. Then I am going to do hello, but I'm going to change that to a different font just so you can see how this would work. Sometimes finding the font is the hardest part. Now let's go to images and I'm going to find a sun. Now I really only want half of the sunshine. If I take the hello and the sunshine and do an offset around those and hit apply, I am now going to cut that offset out of the word or the sun. So because there's 2 pieces to the sun, I have to ungroup it. Then We're going to need to hold our shift key and click on the offset, and then scroll down here and click on the sunshine. And this time, instead of using subtract, I'm just going to use slice. It's going to make a lot more stuff I have to clean up, but I just wanted to show you that you can have this option. So now I'm going to use this part of the offset, which is the top one, and scroll down to this part of the sunshine and say slice. Okay, now I can start to delete all of these different slice pieces. I want to get rid of the bottom half of that because I really only want the top half of the sun. So there's that. Perfect. All right, so now I can select all of this and do an offset around the whole thing. Let's make that offset white. Then if I wanted to contour and fill in the insides of that offset, I could do that. So I'm going to just say hide all. And that turned them off. Then, because I want the word hello to be all one piece, I am going to use weld to join that together. And what color should we make that? Let's make it blue, like the sky. And then sunshine, I could ungroup and make each one a different color. There you go. So you could achieve this look either by using subtract or by using slice. Let's do another variation on this. So I'm going to do the phrase at the lake. So I'm going to do that out of a scripty font, and I am just going to use my weld to join that. And I will make that, let's go have a brown. Okay, that's good. I am then going to do a copy and paste of this one. And I'll make that blue. Then I'm going to do an offset, but I'm going to bring it to the inside of this design. And I'm going to use the sharp edges so I get nice good corners, and hit apply. Now I'm going to take these and I will subtract the top one from the back one. And then I'm going to take the two of these and I am going to weld those together. Now I could put this back behind here. And if I wanted to ungroup, I could make each letter a different color. So let's do that. Ungroup. So there's another way to do this. We're going to do another variation. I am going to duplicate this, and then I can just edit this line of text. And then I can do a duplicate and then edit that line. So this is giving me 3 lines of text. And I'm going to make this so that it fills an entire scrapbook page, or at least most of it. So now I'm going to select everything and say align to the right. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I just want to nudge that up. So I'm going to go and just use this to position it up just a little bit. So each one of these, I'm going to do an offset, but I'm doing it to the inside. And apply. And then let's do the subtract again. And now I can select all of those and say weld. And that's going to join all the outer frames of the letters together. And then, well, what I should have done is made a duplicate of all the letters to go inside of those. Let's back up then. So I am just going to undo everything I just did because I want to create a second layer that I can change the inner colors of these after I have the frame. I want this one. I'm going to duplicate it. Duplicate that. And duplicate that. Okay, now let's do the slice. I'm sorry, now let's do subtract. Now I can take all of those and say weld. Then I can take all of these and I'm going to ungroup all of them so they're individual letters. So then I can change their colors. I'm just going to randomly change and then I would put them behind. Oh, you could change some of these to print then cut and add a pattern paper. And this design is going to print this pattern. So if you don't have pattern paper, this is an option for you. And if you don't like that plaid, how tiny it is, you can go find that letter. Nope, that's not it. Here we go. So if I click on this, I can say edit pattern and I can change the scale of it. We really went over a lot in this video and I hope you learned something new. Maybe you learned that using subtract is really similar to slice, only it removes things. Maybe you learned that you can add patterns to your designs and then change the scale of them. So drop me a comment and let me know what your favorite part was, and I can't wait to see what you create. And if you want to learn even more, head over to my website, shawnmosh.com, click on classes, and take my online Cricut course. Before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. I love to hear from you.